Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. There's no complaining. I'm so happy.
Excellent to hear that. So, what is the topic for today which you would like to speak on?
Okay, so yeah, topic is that why it's so important to think out of the box. Why it is very important for individual's life. Thinking out of the box.
Okay.
Are you doing something, ma'am?
No, thinking out of the box is a very important idea which
Mm-hmm.
everyone should have, right? Because mundane things become very boring. So, how would you talk about this topic, thinking out of the box?
Okay, if
First,
I talk.
First, let
Yeah.
us look at the need and the importance. Yeah, so you can start and then I can continue.
Yeah, personally, what I consider when life is going so boring and dull, right? So, and we are totally confused, right, in your life, and not having any clarity and visibility towards your life. In that situation, you feel like I'm puzzled totally, right? In that
Yes,
situation, you have to think out of the box. It will help you to reach, deeper, different areas of your life, different aspect in your life, which is very important for you to move on, right? And that's the reason we have to think out of the box. It's a very important for your growth in your development, right? And move on first from your actual anxiety and complications of your life, right? This is my opinion.
okay. For me, it's a slightly different take on this out of the box idea. It is like thinking more creatively, thinking more innovatively, and also ensuring that your ideas are definitely different from the regular solutions. So, thinking out of the box is thinking a bit differently from the routine and thinking somewhat differently from the average people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, what is the importance of thinking out of the box? Because by thinking out of the box, you may be able to solve problems in a creative manner rather
Of course.
than like traditional methods don't work. So, you need to think about something that is, very different and it clicks. Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
yes. And when people think out of the box, it gives rise to innovations, it gives rise to so many inventions, right?
yeah,
New ways of doing things. Maybe in society, a lot of changes come about because people think out of the box.
yeah. Rising specific things around you, right?
Yes. And how does it impact society, thinking out of the box?
Yeah, it's impact over their mentality directly, and they could be change their mentality towards you as well, right?
No, my question is how does thinking out of the box impact society? Because if
Yeah,
everybody thought the same way, there would be no change.
yes.
So, if we want social change to come about, some new dimensions of everything, automatically there must be some people in the society who think out of the box and therefore are able to come up with new ideas, new
New
solutions,
inventions.
new events. Because if everybody thinks in the same way, there will be no difference.
Of course.
So you need
So,
someone to think out of the box and come up with new ideas, new methods of doing the same old things, and that would definitely impact society.
yeah, getting a lot of change in and progress as soon as possible, right?
Yes, because if you continue to think in the same old fashioned way, then society does not change. There will be no progress. So, if at
Yeah.
all any society needs progress and development, you need good number of percentage of people who keep thinking out of the box and find solution in different sectors of the economy.
Yes. And that's the reason. And earlier opinions, what I have revealed here, that was the based on 99 people are suffering through a lot of anxiety in their life, day to day life. So my opinion was based on such kinds of percentage, right? And
Okay.
you have a given me, ma'am, about development, right, in our locality and some other places as well. So
Yes.
both are very important.
Yes. How do you practice this thinking out of the box?
It's a totally up human. It's a totally up to us, like the way you think and how you think like that. It's totally up to your experiment, because there are very less people are experimenting on self thoughts because they don't get time. They are engaged in their personal life and professional life. They are getting enough time to focus on different part of their life, right? So that's the reason I would say there's a very less people who think like.
My question is, how do you think out of the box? If I need to think out of the box, what is it that I need to do things in a different way? So, one way is you start challenging things which are very routine. Why not do it in a different way? Yes, we have done this for so many years. Why not do something in a different way? So, challenging the norms, challenging the assumptions, challenging what is existing today can lead to thinking out of the box. Maybe
Yeah.
you can miss out a few steps and go 4 steps ahead than what you were doing earlier, right? So
Yes.
so that could really help in thinking out of the box. And routinely, maybe you we start thinking in a particular way and we don't arrive at any good solution. Possibly we could think from the other person's perspective.
Yeah. Anything could be,
It
might be,
could,
right?
yeah, it could be great if we thought from the other person's perspective, and we may arrive at solutions which are very amicable to both parties, and we can come to very good results and outcomes. That's a definite possibility. What is your
Yeah.
opinion on this?
Yeah, my opinion, it's also mutual of yours. Like, without getting necessity, yeah, even importance of thinking in a different way, we don't go ahead, right, in our life. So somewhere our situation has compelled us, right, to just think in a different way in order to reach our destiny as soon as possible. Because if you have been through normal way for a long time and you are not getting result in less time, so somewhere it would be needed for us to think in a different way.
Yes.
Situation, made us.
Yeah,
So
situation make you think differently, but
yeah,
what is important is continue to think out of the box, because that way you may be singled out in a group of 10 people because you have a different way of thinking about things, and the outcomes are definitely better.
yeah, you can say, yeah,
Yeah, so it
and
helps you to stand out and become a leader in your area, because leaders are those who can lead with different ideas, with a different mindset. Everybody cannot be a leader. So you can develop leadership qualities by thinking differently. Yeah.
another reason it could be getting a lot of progress in very soon. We have a needed to just think in
Out of the box, yes. And any problem can need not be thought of as a problem, but you can convert it into an opportunity and take the best possible way to solve the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right,
Yeah.
of
Then
course.
there could also be situations where the learning outcomes may be much more deeper when you think differently, not at the superficial level. Yeah, so you can make thinking out of the box more fun by looking at things not at the surface, but something more deeper, which may give more meaning to everything.
Yeah, and this is the way you can extend your better observations.
Yeah, so we have great people like Lego, J.K. Rowling, Steve Jobs of Apple, who thought differently, and that's why they were able to invent so many different things, right?
Yeah.
So, what kind of activities would you, as a teacher, bring into your school to think out of the box, help children think out of the box?
Yeah, I think in my teaching teaching manner, I have to consider something out of the box. Sometime I have to apply multiple strategy to explain the thing in a very convenient manner to my student. So you can say somewhere we are going to gradually engaged in such kinds of things, and that's the reason I'm getting such kinds of thoughts and focusing on, right. So somewhere it is very important to us, reliable.
Yeah. Can you give me one example where you taught your students to think out of the box and they were really successful?
Actually, of course, in some of aspect, like suppose my students have been suffering through remembering the things not very early, right? So in that situation, I often say to them like, remembering anything you have to write down on your notebook 10 times, right? Because what you have written on your note, that is inside of your mind. What you are writing over there, that is existing in your mind. Only the things you can write down over the notebook. If your mind, it is not existing in your mind, so you won't able to write down. So 10 times you practice so that you can remember very perfectly that things in a long time. So this is
Yeah.
the way. Yeah.
Let their imagination grow wilder and more creative. You can also give them some question. What if humans could fly? What would happen if all of us, if schools were under the water? How would we reach school?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
ma'am, you're right.
so those
Yeah,
kind of questions will help children think rather than asking routine questions. The example which you gave of making them write 10 times would only help them practice, but it would not, it would help them memorize. It would not help them
yeah,
think out of the box. I would say thinking out of the box is give them situations like suppose we could humans could fly. What do you if you could fly, what would happen? If your
mm,
houses were underwater, how would you go to school?
yeah. Like that activities I do not do with the student because students are not that much capable to consider in a this way.
No, but you
That is the
can
major
let,
problem.
no, you cannot form a preconceived opinion. Give them a chance to think.
Yeah, you are right, ma'am. Of course, I have to do this. I will discuss this matter with my senior as well.
Yeah, give them a chance to think. In a class of half an hour or 45 minutes, give them 5 minutes to think differently. You see how many different kinds of ideas they will come up with. You cannot imagine.
Yeah, of course.
And
Of
you
course.
can write down all their points on the blackboard and say who said this, who said that, and they would be so excited to come up with so many different ideas. So thinking out of the box is definitely a very good way of teaching too.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you
It
can summarize and then bring them to your point of view.
yeah, that this is the very skillful, the manner of teaching any individuals, right?
Yes.
Ma'am, I have one question. Have you ever needed to think out of the box in your entire life?
Yes, in my 37 years of teaching, we always thought differently. And it was never mundane or just boring lectures because we had to think of every situation where we would give students different ideas and make them work on those ideas, come up with ideas to solve the problem differently.
Yeah, it's a needed for every person, I think, right? In their
Yes,
life.
very important.
Yeah. Because I think the many people have been suffering through a lot of problem in their day-to-day life, right? So these people have a needed to think out of the box, right?
Yes, to an extent, yes.
Yes.
A simple example for school children could be take their lunch box or a school bag and ask them, what could you do to make the lunch box cooler or more useful? They will also come and find out, things which
The way,
you can attach to the lunch box, something you could do differently to the lunch box. They themselves will come with some objects which they are bringing to school every day. Maybe the water bottle, maybe the tiffin box, maybe their school bag, because you
yeah,
said you were dealing with primary children, so all of them will have these objects, right?
yeah, you're right. I
And
didn't apply such methods with my students, but for this moment, I will consider this really because
Mhm.
this is the way I can give them, very creative mind, and they will think in a
and it
very creative way.
and it'll be so exciting also than a regular monologue of teaching them a topic and giving them question and answers and make them memorize. Rather, they should come up with solutions.
Yeah, and this is the way you can be a more and more creative after reaching age of 20,
Yes,
right?
of course.
This is more
This
better.
will no, unless you start at this primary level, as they grow up, they will learn to think in that way only. And that will
Yeah,
make them very good when they grow into, young adults and they want to take up careers. They will also know how to think for themselves.
yeah, you're right, ma'am. And
So,
I have a one, yes.
yes,
So, ma'am, have you ever tried with your kids at your home?
yes, we did in our own way, but that was long back.
Okay, right now they would be more creative, right?
Yes, they are very creative. They had developed their power of thinking, asking questions. Make them ask questions. That's the way you think out of the box. Not tell them something and say, this is the right thing and you better follow it. Ask them to think and ask questions about something. That is the
Yeah.
way you'll teach them to think out of the box.
Yeah. Who knows how
Const,
to ask the questions?
con,
They can
con,
only think in a creative way.
Yeah, only those who can ask questions will start thinking out of the box. Yes, you are right. Yes. So, imagination, creativity, or something may be there in the mind, but you have to bring it out. As teachers, we have to mold their personality by bringing those aspects out rather than rote learning, regular writing the exam, mugging question and answers, and scoring them. If somebody wrote something differently, should not deduct marks.
Yeah, sometimes we have to burn self by consideration in a different way. And we are going to revive our new character, right? In a different way, we start considerations. So
Yes,
this
so
is somewhere it's very
as
important.
educators, you have a lot of opportunity way forward. So it is a very good topic that you brought about, thinking out of the box. And I'm sure in your entire career, which is going to be 30, 40 years, you can implement it every day of your life and it will make
Of
a
course.
difference. And it will make a difference. So
Yeah,
it was a really engaging conversation, and all the best for you to start implementing and making children think out of the box.
yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.